Hello YouTube, welcome back over to GamingHouse, home to reviews and playthroughs, and anything else gaming related I choose to post about. For today though, we are going to be reviewing Gears of War 4, which I am excited for just because I am a long-standing fan of the Gears of War franchise. I've played pretty much all of them besides Judgment, and we don't talk about Judgment if you're a Gears of War fan. Today in this video is just me, myself, and I. Sometimes I'll have friends do reviews with me, get second inputs or third inputs, depending on how many there are, but today it is just me. Now, getting started, we're going to go ahead and jump right into the story of Gears of War 4, something that most gamers would actually agree that they actually kind of play through. You know, I have a couple friends that have not touched it yet because they're douchebags and play multiplayer first. That's my opinion, though. I hate that shit. But the story of Gears of War 4 goes, it is 25 years after the events of Gears of War 3, and for those that are a little rusty on what happened there, they have a nice prologue to kick you off. They tell you a little bit about the Pendulum Wars, about E-Day and how the Locust came to be a huge threat, and then they cover V-Day, which is where they actually defeated the Locust through the use of Adam Phoenix's machine that would have killed anything that had a significant amount of emotion and affection in it. After the prologue, we are introduced to JD and his motley crew of friends who have, under mysterious circumstances not thoroughly explained within the game itself, have left the COG and are off on their own. It is also worth mentioning that JD is also the son of Marcus Phoenix, who has also left the COG and is kind of off on his own, doing his own little thing. The precise knowledge of that is not exactly revealed at all, not even through the collectibles. But in the beginning of the story, we are against robots that are the new COG army's official foot soldiers / cannon fodder as we raid a settlement. After raiding the settlement and facing against more robots, it's eventually revealed that there's a new enemy that is out there called the Swarm that have been secretly attacking COG, either outposts or other patrols, as well as attacking outsider settlements like the one that you were in that just got recently attacked. Without spoiling too much, you pretty much go around, start kicking a bunch of ass, meet up with Marcus, continue to kick more ass, and try to find out what the Swarm are and what they're about and what's the objective, as well as trying to find survivors of your village. Now let's go ahead and break down the story aspect of this game. There is, again, as always, co-op in this game. It is knocked back down to 2, however, as opposed to Gears 3, which had 4. And in this game, I feel like that is technically a fault, because with how the game is, they could have at least just bumped it down to 3. Or at the very least, if they changed up the writing and how the story went, they could have very easily had 4-player co-op again, as you spend most of the campaign with 4 characters, except for certain segments which are in spoiler territory. But you had 4 people with you a majority of the time of the campaign. A quick time with the other rest of the game. The graphics, of course, are amazing in this. They run off the Unreal 4 engine, and they look fantastic. And that was, of course, I played mine on Xbox. Regular, no 4K TV, nothing like that. It was the regular Xbox, regular flat screen TV, and it was looking fantastic. Characters and dialogue are what you can expect from the Gears of War thing. Funny little quips here and there, whilst also trying to avoid being chainsawed in half and chainsawing others in half. So if you're a fan of that, that's going to be there and still there. I enjoyed the new cast of characters. Some of my friends did not enjoy them. They just were off-put by how some of them were. Particularly side characters, I didn't hear any complaints about the main cast of JD, Kate, and Dell. The collectibles in the game were a bit of a disappointment for myself. They might vary for other people, as is a mix of items you find from the past of the Coalition and what was before it. One of the areas you visit is a historical site, so you get a little insight for the Gears lore for those that aren't familiar in the extended universe. But I was expecting more items to at least reveal more backstory of what's happened over the last 25 years, whereas most of these items are actually very short descriptions. Some even in fact, a decent chunk were just a sentence or so long. And that's a bit of a disappointment, as I was expecting more things to help fill in the gaps of the 25 years via collectibles, since none of that is actually mentioned really a whole lot in the story. A more neutral point is if you have a good head on your shoulders or you know anything about Gears, you could kind of call several aspects of the story, several moments that happened early on that you could kind of predict who is what is this, etc., without entering too much in spoilers. But if you have decent head on your shoulders, you can call shots from the get-go. An old complaint of the previous Gears, and continues in this one, is the AI. The AI is not really helpful in terms of putting fire downrange towards enemies. And also when it comes to revives, as I've noticed, and this is when they're programmed to go for the first person down. So if someone gets downed across the map, either you or a friend or the AI, they will run towards that one, despite if a second person goes down right next to them, they're going to ignore that person right next to them and run across the map to get the first person. The final point about the campaign that I'm going to discuss is the ending. I'm not going to talk about the ending. This is spoiler free, but it does end open-ended, and depending on what kind of person you are, you might be off-put by that, but just know this is the beginning of a trilogy, so it's kind of almost expected. It does end sudden and again open-ended, so if you're off-put by that, that would probably be a negative for you. Now let's go ahead and jump into the multiplayer experience of the game, including both the Versus and Horde. We're going to go ahead and jump into the Versus, which admittedly I have played the least amount in my time for Gears. I've usually had it pretty even, but this go around I've been more focused on the Horde mode. The Versus is what you can expect from the Versus you've been known and accustomed to since Gears 3. Usual wall bouncing, shotguns, etc. I feel like the long-range weapons, besides the hammer burst, kind of suck. And when I mean long-range weapons, I of course mean the starting primaries, which is the Enforcer, which is more close range, the Lancer, which I feel is just a pea shooter right now in Versus, and the hammer burst, which seems to really fuck people up, especially if it's an active reload. But you can come to expect what you want. They have social, quick play, and I believe social as well, and then the core modes, and then competitive. The social aspect is peer-to-peer with a host. The host is made known, and from what I can tell, it does not give them a significant advantage as it has in, say, Gears 2 and 3. If you're looking for that, it's more like along the lines of Gears 3 host. And then there are dedicated servers for, of course, the, I believe, core, but definitely at least the competitive. There are servers dedicated to that. As for the Nasher, I will not say anything about it just because I'm like severely rusty in the multiplayer, and all I can say is that with every installation of Gears past Gears 1, everyone's always said that the Nasher's been messed up, and on this one I'm not feeling any different from, say, Gears 3 or so, or any of that, so no opinion on the Nasher there for me. And now for the next segment, Horde, which I was the most excited about just because I was a fan of Horde in Gears 3, and if you're new to the channel, I am more of a person that's excited for co-op nowadays rather than Versus, because I'm just tired of the Versus nowadays. I've been gaming a long time, and just, to me, the Versus community aspect has always just been going downhill all over the place, but that's just me. Enough personal input. Let's talk about Horde mode. Horde mode got massively revamped. It now has a class system with their own leveling up progress and loadouts, as well as it is now centered around the Fabricator, which if you play the story aspect, there are several instances where you use this Fabricator in Horde-esque standoffs. So if you've never heard of Horde before, never played Gears before, first off, wow. And second off, you pretty much get to play in the Versus maps. You take the Fabricator and pick it up, drag it wherever you want to. You could literally just drop it where it is, or drag it off to a corner of the map where you want to hold up and start building up your defenses. With the classes, 3 of them are specifically designated around damage output, and that would be the Heavy, the Soldier, and the Sniper, each of course having their own skills that you open up more slots to use more skills as you level up the class, going off of differences, so it goes 1, 3, 5, 7, 10. And with these, of course, they're all centered to their own specific loadouts, such as Sniper, of course, has more damage for headshots and precision weapons, Soldier more damage for assault rifles, grenades, so on and so forth. Of course, then you also have the Engineer, which is centered around building and repairing, not centered around dealing out massive amounts of damage, but for building your base up, you want this guy to be the guy that's usually buying stuff for their discounts and repairing. And then the other one, the last one, which is one I've been currently using the most, and that is the Scout, which is more of an Omni-Man kind of class. They have a plethora of skills that can be centered around dealing damage, as well as more health. For instance, I rock 60% shotgun damage and 80% more health. But their other key factor is the fact that they are also the only class that when they collect power-up points and deposit them, they can also earn more points for the Fabricator. Now let's go ahead and jump into the negative aspects of the multiplayer. I do not have too much to add to the Versus discussion, so of course most of these are going to be oriented around the general multiplayer aspect of the game, such as features and as well as the Horde mode, and we'll go ahead and jump right into the Horde mode. Part of the new update for Gears 4 in general is they have bounties for both Versus and Horde, and unfortunately with the Horde there's a select amount of bounties which is just complete a certain amount of waves, which can be anywhere from 10 to 20 to all 50. So of course, once you get past that level 10 portion, you may see 2 or 3 people drop out, and the chances of people joining mid-game are actually pretty slim. So if you're looking to try and get as high as you can per gameplay, or per match I should say, you might be severely disappointed. It's unreliable if you're playing with randoms, because there's a high chance that some might dip out within the first 10 waves being done. Leveling up the classes. I don't know who thought it was a good idea to make it such a fucking grind to level up the classes in Horde mode. To get from level 1 to 2 is just 1,000 XP, no big deal. From get to 2 to 3, 6,000. 3 to 4, 15,000. And it just keeps going up with the final level. I specifically remember this number. To get to 9 to 10, you need 200,000 XP. And you are not making a whole lot right now, at least. They had the double XP going on through this weekend at the time of this recording. And that's helping out a bit, and it helps out also with the power. But other than that, it is a serious fucking grind. Like, more of a nuisance in the grind to level up. It's just blah. It's blah leveling up the classes in Horde. And let's go ahead and get into another large gripe of mine. This is going to be a large, probably borderline the final topic, and that is centered around packs and the customization in this game. We'll go ahead and just talk about the customization in this game. You get a plethora of skins for a not a decent amount of weapons. In fact, that's one of the faults. You get to customize the skins of all the weapons in the game now, so it's not just starter weapons, it's now also power weapons, so when you pick them up for the first time, they'll have this skin applied to it. And this, of course, applies to Versus and Horde mode. Now, my gripe with these is, first off, you only get a fuck ton of skins for the Lancer, Gnasher, Snubnose, and Longshot. Everything else has only about 2 to 3 skins for them, which for some of the power weapons, of course, that would, make sense. But the Hammerburst Enforcer are loadout options for Versus. And those don't have those also only have 2 to 3 skins. And in my opinion, for these skins, for both characters and weapon skins, I am not a fan of these skins. These seem like flashy and edgy, and for pretty much, I would say, for the Call of Duty community. We've got plenty of skins that are like Trippy Lancer, Trippy X-Color, Bubbles, for the animated skins. For characters, there's Color Blasted, which looks like someone getting ready for the fucking color run. Like, what the fuck is this? This isn't Gears. And as for skins for characters, there's a problem with the Swarm. Swarm have, of course, their Swarm skins as well as the robot skins. And the robot skins are kind of at a disadvantage because when they run, they make really loud running, like squeaking between the legs for the robot legs. And that kind of puts them at a disadvantage in multiplayer, or at least noise. And another complaint is for the COG side of it. Not a whole lot of characters are really used. There's a bunch of skins for set amounts of characters. But overall, there's not a lot of characters, especially considering some of these characters are used and seen in the campaign. For examples, there is a Carmine character. He's not in the multiplayer. You see him. He doesn't say anything, but you at least see him. His character model is in the game. Bernie, who has a couple lines. She is from Gears of War 3, by the way. Her character model is also, of course, in there. And again, lines are said. And she is not available for multiplayer. And there's probably a few others as well that I have not mentioned. But, of course, the biggest complaint is that all of this, all of your customization options, are locked behind packs. Oh, the moment I heard microtransactions were going to be in this, I knew this shit was going to happen. Packs are, of course, your typical shit that you may know from either Counter-Strike, Halo, particularly the comparisons Halo, because I'm pretty confident any Microsoft exclusive game is going to have some form of RNG packs in it. All your customization options, bounties, class skills, etc. These are all behind packs, which of course you can earn credits in game for to try and get, or you can just straight up pay money for. Now, some of these are kind of reasonable. You get about 500 points or so every 5 levels, and then of course you earn credits for XP, consecutive matches, and I think ribbons as well. But here's how the numbers go. Horde and Versus boosters, 400 credits. Operations pack, which can be bounties as well as customization options, but at like not guaranteed higher levels, 1,000 credits. The Elite pack, which has all customization options, all your aesthetics, 3,500 credits. And that used to be 4,000, by the way, until Coalition decided to lower that, which I guess is a plus that we know that they can actually control the prices, so they can actually lower the credit cost. So who knows, they might have deals in the beginning, but holy fuck, the one that, of course, people are going to want, the more customization options, is 3,500. That's a fucking fuck ton. of grinding to do. For customization options, there's nothing else to work for. You don't get anything from leveling up. Apparently when you re-up, you'll get some free gear packs. But other than that, you don't earn character models, you don't earn skins from leveling up in the game, from doing anything else in the game, from completing campaign, from getting all collectibles, nothing. So while there is no pay-to-win model, and of course this is the microtransaction people say will let slide, I'm actually not letting it slide anymore. This is kind of irritating at this point. All our customization, all your aesthetics are locked behind packs, and I am tired of seeing this shit. So, before I get to the final score, let's go ahead and do a nice roundup. Good things. Campaign was fun. Horde mode, also fun for the new additions. Versus, the same old in the good sense, and that's just being vague about those. And some of the collectibles were fun to get. On the negative sides of things, a lot more questions and not a lot of answers from the campaign. One thing I forgot to mention in the campaign segment is they use some things more often than they should have, such as the Horde-esque mode that I mentioned. That happens a few times. The Wind Flare, which is a new natural disaster of gears, that happens way too frequently in the campaign. Over in the multiplayer, you just have a large grind and no real reward with RNG packs that you can either try to grind out for or pay for with real money. And it's just been getting ridiculous with those lately, and they're ridiculous here considering all your options are locked behind those. So final verdict as of the date that this review is done, not including any future changes or DLC, I would give this game an 8.5 out of 10. And those that don't know my scale, 0.5 just simply means that it's not good enough to reach the next level in the scoring, but I thought it was pretty good and could have made there. And the thing that I think holds it back, because I wanted this to score higher. I wanted to give this game like a 9 or a 9.5. But some of the glaring issues that are relevant to the game, such as particularly the packs. The packs are really annoying. The grind, the level set is just too high and it's very annoying. And if you don't got time, because this is Broketober month, a lot of shit's starting to come out. If you don't got time to put in the grind, you're going to be like behind on stuff and with everything else coming out. If you're a Gears fan, of course, I would say pick this up. Hell yeah, fucking pick this up and play it. You'll probably enjoy at least one of the 3 aspects of the game. Now, did you agree with the score? Do you have a different score in mind? Let me know in the comments down below what you thought. Any feedback's of course welcome. Like, comment, subscribe, all that fun YouTube-y stuff. And if you'd like to, I did a playthrough of the Gears of War campaign. Link to the playlist will be down in the description below. Honestly, I kind of sucked. I was sick, so I'm like sitting there coughing every now and then, and well, I kind of sucked. But check it out anyway if you're interested. And as always, you're welcome to come back over to GamingHouse for gameplay and commentary.